Hi, I am Tate Talley,
I'm Dominic Bonacore.
And I'm Ricardo Vara Sanchez.
and we are
Infinity
Infinity
Entertainment.
Entertainment. So I think this is the first time we've done all three of us saying that as an intro,
I think so. I think
It's
you're-
always been me or Tate or
or
you
me and Dom. Or,
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever been me and Dom ever though.
Dom, you gotta point the mic at him whenever he talks. You gotta grab it too.
Hello.
You gotta be forceful.
You gotta assert
be
yourself.
forceful with that thing. You gotta grab it from me. And say, hey, biatch, give me the mic.
And we'll be like, all right, take it, because you're that whole title. Well, we'll hear you. We'll see.
Well, yeah.
We'll see.
we
It'll
need
pick us
we need
up.
a better what's this thing called?
Interface.
The interface. Yeah,
Yeah.
guys, watch us and give us money for a new interface so we can have 3 mics going. But yeah, this is the Infini-Pod. Is that what we're gonna go with?
Infini-Pod.
Infinity
I like
podcast.
that.
The Infini-Pod.
It's almost like we're in one of those like. Ooh.
That was crisp. I pointed the
Crisp.
mic away from it. Maybe I
Yeah.
should have pointed it at it.
It was.
Can you just
Oh, I bet that peaked like crazy.
Wow.
That definitely peaked like.
Oh, that was
like
amazing.
insane.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we do it all here. ASMR.
I just spilled it all on myself.
Wow. You clumsy little.
That's
wow.
crazy.
That's crazy. And he was asking us too beforehand. He
Yeah,
was
I
like,
changed-
with the
I
white
changed for
shirt. He's
this.
like, should I do the white shirt? And we're like, hey, yeah, do the white shirt.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I
That's-
can't change.
No, you got to
Yeah,
wear
we
that
started.
the entire time.
I'm gonna go grab something.
yeah just
Wow. This is crazy. I knew I was gonna need to do something too. This was so stupid.
What are you grabbing?
I need another shirt, man. I can't do this.
Oh my word!
Setup's crazy right
That is insane.
Oh my goodness. I'll be right back with
This is all going.
So we're cutting this right from we're just gonna
No, I think we should keep going. I think they're gonna watch us. You know.
yeah.
Hello. Hi. That's true. We when we went to New York in 2018, we stayed in Jersey.
I'm sorry. You know what sucks is I washed that today for the podcast.
What?
I washed that shirt today
Really?
for the podcast.
Wow. It was. Yeah. It was.
I
Very,
washed
yeah.
it today because I was like, you know what? I want to wear it for the first podcast. And I was like, I looked at this and I was like, yep, I want the white shirts. My go-to. I spill
Well,
it
that
immediately.
lasted about 5 minutes. So
Well, I've changed. I'm ready.
round 2.
Okay, let's get it started.
Round 2.
So yeah, we've wanted to for a while to start this podcast. Probably about close to a couple of years.
We'd been talking about it for a while.
Because me and you talked about it before Infinity was a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
And then-
well, to be fair, I talked to a lot of people about starting podcasts.
Yeah, but now
I was in talks with my father to start a podcast at one point. It was going to be pretty fun. It was going to be amazing. It was, yeah.
But I mean, even last year, we were like, I remember we posted a thing on Instagram. We were like, oh, we're gonna be starting a podcast in these
Yeah.
next couple months,
And then we just never
and we
did.
never did it. But we are now. Took us a couple years. We needed more stories.
Yeah.
We need more stories to talk to you guys about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk about a good. I mean, speaking of stories,
Speaking of stories,
we're a story. We're
We
a pretty
are a
great
story.
story, aren't we?
That was a very good segue. You should be on the news.
Put me on.
The-
Matt Payne, I'm coming for your job.
David Payne.
David
and
Payne.
David Payne.
Well,
and-
Matt Payne,
and
I'm coming for your job too.
David Payne and
David Payne.
all the other Oklahoma. You're on notice. All the Oklahoma news
Were they
people.
in Twisters?
Who?
Was
No,
David
Mike
Payne?
Morgan was on Twisters.
Oh, okay.
The
That's not
Channel 4
realistic.
guy. The
Nobody's watching Channel 4 for the weather.
well, I watch Channel 5. I like KOCO.
Shout out Trent McMillan.
Shout out Trent McMillan.
Our
He's
sound
the
guy.
he works for KOCO. And if you're still out there, I applied to like work for y'all like months ago, and I still haven't heard anything back.
Give him a job, guys. Please.
Just
Ow.
just
I hit the door, the
Can't-
bed.
Oh man,
That's okay.
that's all right.
We
So how'd you guys meet? Come on.
we're just gonna kind of. I guess the whole point of this is we're trying to segue into how we met and how Infinity came into being, like just that story. We keep getting sidetracked by Matt Payne, David Payne, and news. So let's go into it though. I mean, me and Dom, we knew each other for years. We went to high school together. You were what, 2 years older than me?
I knew your sister.
Yes, you were in my grade, my sister.
And so
And I was in the grade with your sister.
You were.
We're like yin and yang.
Yeah. The and what was it? Your freshman year?
Was that? I don't have a clue.
Yeah. So we were it was a play. We were in a play
at high school.
In high school, and it was a murder mystery play.
Yes.
And we didn't know what the plot of it was for literally the entirety.
I still have no idea what it was about.
I still don't have, and it was called I Don't Have a Clue. That was like the name of it. So it was very like it accomplished what it needed to do. Wow. And it was literally, I was a cop, and you were.
I was the husband,
like a murder mystery party goer.
I was 16 years old and I looked 13, and I was playing a husband, 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
And I was.
How place goes.
No, I was very young too. But like, I mean, everybody else was older than me. The girl who's playing my wife was like way taller than me.
Right.
I was tiny. I was like 5'4".
Was it Maddie?
Maddie Kufal. Shout out Maddie. Well, that's not. Yeah. She's married now.
I don't know what her last name is. I'm sorry. I don't know what your last name is.
Congratulations.
Shout out to you.
I
hope you're doing well. Yes.
Me too. Yeah. But we did that, and then. My sophomore year, we did the Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers. I literally had this conversation with a student today. So I teach. I'm a guitar teacher up in Edmond, and I had a student who's doing baseball, and he was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, I have to, try out for the team just to, but I'm pretty much in, I'm in the team. Yeah. And that was literally how it was senior year of high school, where the director was like, hey, I got a role for you. You're going to be the lead villain, but you should still audition just to,
keep up appearances.
Just to keep up appearances, to make it look like there's a fair thing going on.
Look like I haven't. I said that the other day. I was talking to somebody about a role in a movie. I'm not getting too specific, but I was talking about a role, and I was like, you should just do this.
Yeah,
you should do this. And they were like, well, I wanna audition. Like, I don't want to just be handed the role. And I was like, okay, well, I could email you some stuff and like a script. And they were like, okay. And they're like, well, you're gonna let other people audition? And I was like, I mean, I can. And they were like, well, is it gonna like change anything? And I was like, no, it's gonna be. I said I want it to be you. It's gonna be you.
Right?
Why would I let other people audition?
Yeah.
And they're
like if your mind's
okay.
if the director's mind is made up, yeah.
Yeah, but there's just like, I still want to do an audition. I'm like, okay, you can. It's gonna be you, but all right, do it.
And then we did that.
I mean, that's kind of how it was for me too.
Because
I walked in, I auditioned for like 3 characters.
Okay.
Of that, it was the Three Musketeers, by the way.
Were you did you audition for one of the Musketeers?
I auditioned for 2 of the Musketeers.
2 of them.
The main one that went to Henry Cargill, who played Max Dillon.
He did. He was in season 1. Yeah.
And then I auditioned for the one that I think, Ginger Noah.
Noah, yes.
That he played. And then I remember the director was like, I want you to read for the minion, the little like villain's like goblin character. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I want you to do an accent too. Can you do a Russian accent? Because there was a big bit. I was very good at doing Russian accent.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, yeah, I can. And I would just do it. I would break it out just like all around school. So it was just like a thing that I did.
Yeah.
And I did it in the audition. And then I did the other 2. And I honestly thought I didn't really want to play the villain goblin. I wanted to be like a good guy.
Right. Yeah.
But then he was like, well, you're going to be with Dom. And I was like, well, Dom's chill. Dom's funny. I worked with him last year in the other place. So,
yeah.
And then we kind of just became the goats of being funny.
Well, that was so stupid, though, his accent, because I was trying to do an English accent for that entire show. And he said to me, he took me aside and was like, no, because the play is set in France.
And I was doing a Russian accent.
And I said, this fool's doing a Russian accent. What do you mean? I
He
said
asked me to
geography
do it,
does
though.
not matter anymore. You null and voided that the second you gave him a Russian accent. I said, what are you talking about? The play is set in France. I'm like, all right.
He asked
whatever.
me to also.
Yeah, which
It
is
was a
just
director's
insane.
note. It was
Which
do
is
the
just
Russian accent,
insane.
Tate.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They put me in like real. I had to like hunch over and like be like,
He was in
what do you
chainmail.
want to eat? Like
And
that. And they gave me like real chainmail. They're like,
Yeah.
they're like, we're gonna get your undergarments to be chainmail, and I was like, that's sick. Then they gave me real chainmail. It's like 40 pounds,
Yeah.
and I'm like hunched over the whole time. So like at the end of the night, I would like stand up straight, and my back would like, and it was like pop, and I was just like, oh.
Which is really crazy because I stabbed him during one performance.
Yeah, and they had real swords.
I was like
They
flipping
had,
my
like, metal
sword around,
swords, yeah.
and it hits him in the shoulder, and you just hear like I'm like delivering this monologue on stage, and I like flip my sword, and you just hear a ching.
And we played it off too because you looked at me and I went,
Yeah, yeah.
and you were like, you like fluffed your hair. You're like,
I was like, oh, whatever.
but
I can't be bothered.
But yeah, I think that's when we like clicked,
Yeah.
and then we just kind of kept in contact. I don't think I mean, my junior year we weren't really homies in school because you graduated.
I graduated in 19.
Yeah, so my junior
5
year-
years ago this year.
So my
half a
junior year, you
decade.
weren't there at all.
No.
But then I started making more movies my
Right.
junior year,
Yeah.
and I would just hit you up and be like, "Hey, do you want to come? Do you want to come act?"
Well, and the movie thing was in high school. We had a history teacher
Who's
who
actually he's actually in my house right now. He's meeting with my family in there. It's funny, yeah.
And he had us do a project, right? And it was a
It's a historical.
it was a
movie.
historical movie. You had to make a movie based on a historical event. And so when we were juniors, we made one over the Boston Massacre, and we won every single award you could possibly win, except for historical accuracy, which was like the crux of the project. I mean, we had like lightsaber fights in the movie and stuff like that, and it was supposed to be like 17th century Boston or 16th century Boston.
The best part about that too is like it wasn't just like a junior class thing. Like like if you were in high school and the movie projects came out, everybody wanted to see the projects.
Right.
Because it was like everybody knew about it was like a really like it's a fun, unique project. So like whenever anything like that, it's like the science project, like a science fair or something. Everybody wants to see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember we would always be like, and me especially being, because I knew I wanted to do movies since I was like in 7th grade. So like every time a movie would come out, I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to get there and make the best one. And I did. By the way, he still
That's
shows.
true.
He
I
still
mean,
shows mine to
it
this
was pretty
day.
good.
But yeah, I did mine. Mine was COVID year though, so we didn't get awards because like, and a lot of people didn't finish them because we got COVIDed. But I finished mine, and my friends finished theirs too. And yeah, so we didn't get to do awards, but both of ours got like blacklisted for violence. Like they were too violent.
I believe that.
Yeah, one of them had like a torture scene, so yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense.
Small Baptist private school.
It was like
Torture
It was like, hey,
scene
maybe
in the
the
middle.
Viet Cong torturing this guy is like not the best idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then after those movie projects, my junior year, when COVID year, I made that. We started making that mafia movie, and you were in it. You were like the bodyguard or something.
It was some like enforcer type of thing.
Yeah, we never finished that one.
We never did. No.
It was good.
It was
a good
good.
idea. We might circle back, but who knows? That was a good one. That was whenever I think started relying on you as an actor for my thing. So I was like, Dom's always saying yes, so I'm just gonna put him on my permanent list of yes men.
Little did I know, yeah,
and
that would come back to bite me.
And so on my senior year, and then you were we did a movie project senior year too, because it was the same teacher, different class.
Yes.
It's modern history, and he was, we were like, my class was like, oh, let's do another movie project because people didn't get to last year. And he was like, well, we actually have a board game project this year. And we were like, that's lame. And he basically was like, all right, then choose. Like, you could either choose to do a movie or choose to do a board game. And I was like, I think I know which one I'm going to get it
Right,
on.
yeah.
So we did another one about the war on drugs, and I made it just like, we didn't do awards for this one either because people did board games and stuff.
How would you make a board game out of a historical? How did that go? Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't remember that project at all. So
You don't
that
remember?
must have been a new because
I guess. I
we
don't
didn't
know.
do that.
But yeah, I did mine on the war on drugs. You were in it. You
wasn't.
you played a druggie.
I was
Another enforcer type character.
I was. It was another
And yeah, then after that I didn't do anything with movies for a while, I don't think. And then we were handed the script for Crash. For Crash.
Yes.
I was really close with my creative writing teacher and my journalism teacher in high school. And he's a writer. He loves to write. He had written like a book of poems, and they were very good poems. But he wrote a script, and he was like, I want you to make this. And it kind of explained it to me. And the idea is really good, and on paper it's really good.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, this is... I haven't written anything, and this is very easy to do. So I was like, let's do it. And so, obviously, I was like, I'll play the main character, as always. Ugh. Nobody else wants to do it. I'll do it. And then I was like, well, there's a villain, there's an evil dude in this who's the antagonist, kind of. I was like, Dom.
Yeah.
I'll call Dom. He'll say yes.
Yeah.
And he did. He said yes. Then after that, we did like 2 shooting days, and then in the summer, and then we went into school, and I was starting freshman year at Oklahoma City Community College.
Yes.
And that's where I met Dr. Ricardo.
Dr. Me.
Dr. Me. Do you remember how we met, Ricardo?
Yes, I remember exactly how we met. We were actually in, what was it, Sin 1? Yeah, we were in Sin 1, and we were just getting shown the cameras around. We were new. We were all freshmen, and I just remember I think we were done building the cameras, and then we were putting them back. And as we were leaving back to the classroom, Tate just goes up to a door, and he misses the top of the.
I jumped up to like touch the top of the door frame.
The door frame,
just like a cool person. Right. But I didn't jump enough, and I'm short, so I just missed it. And I like landed, and I was like, oh, and I like did like a little look in front of me, and I was like, okay, nobody's looking at me there. I was like, okay, I'm good. And I turn around, and
it's
Richard's
just me
there,
smiling,
just give me a little devilish grin.
I saw that. I saw that.
Looks at me, he goes, you were close.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks.
It was very, very funny.
Yeah,
and then Tate was just he was like, hey, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm into cameras. I like photography, and I want to become a director of photography and do a bunch of camera work. And he was like, well, I'm shooting this thing called Crash. You want to come and shoot with me? And he was like, yeah, I'll just.
It was like that weekend too.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And then he was like, okay, I'll see you in like 2 days. So I don't even know how like.
I was like, oh, cool. You do camera, sick.
So
yeah,
it's really refreshing to know that your like call time turnaround hasn't changed that much. It's literally like days before the shooting. He's like, hey,
meet somebody,
you free?
I mean, the first day, Maximus White, our stunt coordinator, we were filming season 1. We were filming like a fight scene that night, and I went to a shoot. I was doing sound on it in the morning, and Max was there, and I just met him, and I was talking to the Janes who run Green Pasture.
Oh, Richard, I love Richard.
Ranch,
Yes.
Filmmakers Ranch now.
Yes, Richard
and because we had done a stunt there, and they were following me on Facebook, and they were like, "Oh, did I see you jump off of a parking garage onto some boxes?" I said, "Well, yes, Amy, you did. You did see me do that." And Max was like, "What'd you do?" So I showed him the video, and he was like, "That's sick." He was like, "Ah, man, I love doing stunts. I think it's so cool. I really want to get into that." And I was like, "Well, what are you doing tonight?" And he was like, "Oh, nothing." And I was like, "You want to come fight Spider-Man at 8:00?" And he was like, "Bet." And so he showed up and he fought, and that was the first day I met him.
That's pretty crazy.
That was the first day. That's how you met him. That's crazy.
Well, Martin showed up. Harry Osborn. Yeah, it was the first day
of season 1.
He was an extra.
And I didn't recognize him when he came back. Because he was like, "This is my first day," and I was like, yeah, it is."
Yeah.
What?
And he was he was there the first day when we were in the it was like the college downtown on whatever street that is.
Yeah. What's crazy though is like with Martin is like I don't remember ever being like he's a great actor. Like I don't remember seeing him act before I was like, I want him to be Harry Osborn. He just happens to be like the greatest.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because we saw him that first day, and then he came back to be an extra in the Flash scene.
Yes.
But he had texted me on Facebook and was like, I want to, because I was like, who wants to play Flash? And he was like, oh, I want to. And I just was like, no, I want you to be Harry.
Yeah.
Next season.
Yeah.
And I had not seen him act.
Right. Okay.
And I don't know why. Because we didn't even hit it off the first day. I said like 3 words to him. I said, thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed it.
I
Bye.
did, because I remember I was talking to him. I had my Elton John shirt on. And he's like, oh, is that Elton John? I said, yeah, I saw him last year. Or no, because we started shooting in 22. Yeah, I said I saw him this past January at Paycom. He was at Paycom. And Martin was like, no way. He's like, that's so cool. So we like clicked immediately.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Then
I also noticed his energy. That's how I remember him. He was just like super like energetic and positive.
That's
and
true.
I was just like, oh, not like this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just an extra, and when he came back, I recognized him again.
Right. Yeah.
I was so zoned. I was locked
He was.
in.
You
I
were
don't
locked
remember
in. You had a
anything.
million.
I remember nothing from that first day. I just remember that was the only day we finished on time.
Dude, that was the only day I remembered. Was the first day.
It was really. Yeah,
I
'cause then
can't.
you left.
Yeah. It was the first day, and then it was the day that we were up 36 hours, and those are like the only 2 days from.
Which is weird. I feel like you wouldn't remember the 36-hour one.
See, I feel like I don't know.
I feel like mentally you shouldn't, but like we
Mentally
do.
I shouldn't,
like we
but I
shouldn't
do.
have remembered that night,
Right,
but we do.
but I do. Yeah.
It was terrible. It was
Oh, it
good
was-
stuff, but terrible.
Oh, it was a nightmare. It was terrible.
But yeah, when was like the first time we all? Because I used you for some stuff in Crash, and then you did stuff. I did you for acting, not on camera side at all. You were just acting, and then I had you do camera for some stuff whenever it was like me and Hallie.
Yeah.
It was just us, and then and then I had other people with you, and then the first time we did it together is the 3 of us in that office room for like the finale scene.
Yes.
That I had to rewrite because, guys, this movie was great concept, written to perfection, but on screen it just it's very boring.
It was a failure.
It was a learning experience.
It was very good.
It was almost like it should have been a novel. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, like
He's a good novel guy. I feel like.
that's the Xterra before I ran it into a wall.
I remember that you ran it into a wall on set.
I remember
at
this. Okay.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That was crazy. We
This-
get to the parking garage, and he's just super ticked, and I'm like, what happened? And he takes me to the front of the car, and the little guard is just smushed in, and he's like, what was it? You got the what happened? Like, did you get the reverse confused?
No, I
with
was
the-
turning into Park, and I remember I was talking to this one little shawty, right? And things were going good, which never happened to me. It does now. I'm in a very happy relationship now. But I back then I was like, oh, this is so sick. I was just like very in a joyous mood. I just wasn't like thinking much, and I was like turning to Park, and I was just like, oh, life is great, you know. And God was like, you know what? I'm gonna humble you real quick. You've been talking too much, and my foot slipped off the gas. It was rainy. It was a rainy day.
It was.
And my foot slipped off the gas. No, my foot slipped off the brake and onto the gas. And then I went from like 15 to 35 in the span of 5 feet straight into a concrete like barricade.
Wow.
And popped my airbag, bro. I thought I died. I was like, oh my gosh. There was like fluid from the back. It was like window fluid or something, some like washing your car thing, and it went everywhere. And I was like, oh my goodness. I thought I died, bro. I'll be honest. But I had so much adrenaline running. I was like pissed, and like I had so much adrenaline going. I was just like, and that's why I acted the way I did when y'all showed up. But yeah,
And this is when we were shooting Hobgoblin against Spider-Man, right?
I think no, was it that or was
Yeah.
it Stacy?
No, it was. No.
I know Stacy was there, but it was also I think it was that because we had to reshoot it.
It was a reshoot.
We
it wasn't,
reshot
it was
that
us,
one scene.
It was us, me and Stacy, me and Black Cat looking over the thing, and then it started to like downpour on us. And
Yeah.
we stopped it, and
Yeah, because I had to wear I was in the suit, the Hobgoblin suit. I remember wearing it that day. I don't know what it was. Yeah, because every time I would film, because you had me on camera that day too, and every time you look at the reflection in the lenses, you just see my bright orange
oh yeah,
hoodie. So
Yeah,
it was that day.
but it was that day. No, we didn't use anything from that day. I'm
think
pretty
we
sure
did.
it was just the scene, the refilm of us looking over the. out onto the roof because it started raining bad.
I
so
don't
we
know.
had to pack
I
it up
remember
and leave.
putting the suit on though.
I guarantee
I don't
you were
know.
not in the suit.
You did put on the suit, but we didn't use any of it. Like it started pouring, so we were just like,
We left.
we were like, we can't shoot anymore, and Tate was literally
Pissed.
pissed and because we can't shoot, and he just messed up his car.
My seatbelt broke, so yeah, I couldn't even like seat myself up. But yeah, gosh, that was a day. That was a day and a half. We didn't have a day like that on Crash.
Yeah.
We just shot so much boring stuff. We were not locked in. It was just
We were
boring.
just doing
We
stuff.
were locked in,
They're just
but it was
so
like there
simple.
was nothing to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this was the first of for Crash it began our reliance of Christian Heritage Academy,
That's true.
our old high school for filming locations.
That's true.
Because we had a place in Edmond,
It was
a
that
doctor's
hospital.
office.
Right
Yeah, that was
there.
like, oh yeah, you can come
OU
use
Med.
our
Yeah.
our offices when nobody's using them.
Mhm.
But they only gave us like 4 hours to use them, which was not enough time
Right.
for us, especially back then, because we didn't know what we were doing. I remember we showed up once to film and we got through half of a scene because you were late. You were late. You overslept and you were late.
I did. I hit 9 p.m. instead of a.m. So then my phone starts buzzing and it's Tate. And he's like, where are you? I said, what time is it? He's like, it's 10 o'clock. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got it for 2 hours, so we filmed as much as we could, and then we were like, you know what? No, let's just use CHA instead. So that's the beginning of our reliance of CHA. And we
Yeah,
didn't even
it says
try
it right there.
Yeah, we
It
also
says
didn't even
CHA.
try to like cover it up.
Right.
Basically, Dom's character was. This is like kind of weird.
Explain this to me because I don't even know how my character went.
Okay, let me. See if
I don't
can-
even know. I don't even know what my role in this thing was.
All right, I'm gonna try to remember. So, my character gets like in a car crash, right? And then I can't remember a lot of details. I have like my short-term memory is like all messed up. And basically what we find out is Dom is a detective pretending to be a cop. A detective pretending to be a doctor because they think that I purposefully drove the car out because we get T-boned is like what happens. And then my wife dies. We get in a car accident because we're yelling about the baby and I get T-boned. And the cops are like, I think he purposefully drove out there to kill her. That's a murder. So it's like, no, we need to put this guy away. So you're the detective put on the case, pretending to be a doctor, so you can get me to trust you and tell the doctor that is treating me for my wrist pain that, oh, by the way, I drove that car on purpose out into the highway to get my wife killed. But plot twist,
Yeah.
you were having the cop was having an affair with my wife.
Yeah.
And the baby that had a miscarriage
Was my baby.
your child.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
That is crazy.
Wow.
And you had like a personal because you thought it was me.
Right.
So
and
the
so
cop,
I was like,
the cop
he
kills
took
me.
my partner
Girl.
away from me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And you end
Wow.
up killing me at the end. And then another
Right.
cop comes in and they're like, what happened? He's like, oh, he had a concealed weapon. I didn't see it. But don't worry, I killed him. It's over now. And then the last shot was like him pulling out a picture of him and the girl and
Dude, what the hell?
the like ultrasound, and then it would end and it was like,
Oh my gosh.
which like on paper it reads well.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It'd
But
be a
like
great
translating
novel.
it to this,
It'd
were
be a
just like,
great novel.
it was so bad. It's just really boring and then convoluted. But this last scene looks
That
good.
last one doesn't look too bad.
And that was the first day we began to work as a team, as a team for Infinity. Solid first try.
And then I like shoot myself, don't I?
Yeah,
at
you
some
shoot
point?
yourself
Yeah.
after you shoot me because you're like, oh, I need to have a wound.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
And then I put the gun in your hand.
yeah. This
And then-
this was actually a really solid part. I liked it. Good part. Only good part. And then we made that, and we were like, this is bad. And then I was like, you guys want to make a 5-episode web series? And we were like, oh, I guess so.
Might as well.
It was not how It was not supposed to be a 5-episode web series at first.
Bro, still hung up on that.
No, I mean we have to tell the story. Come
It
on.
was when was the first? I want you to see if you remember because I remember exactly how it happened. Do you remember?
How well we went to go see we went to go see No Way Home, and that was a very epic, very emotional
Evening.
It was very cool. A lot of people dressed up as Spider-Man, and we were just, I don't know, we definitely got inspired by all of that, and he was like, dude, we have to start the Spider-Man project. And I was like, okay, I mean, I've always wanted to do something like long, but something that would take a longer process. And he was like, yeah, don't worry about it, it's gonna be about a 30-minute movie. Or how much was it?
Like half an hour. Yeah, 45 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe an hour. Maybe an hour.
Maybe an hour movie. And I was like, oh yeah, we can definitely do that. And then he comes back to me in literally 2 days maybe, and you were like, hey, I'm sorry, we're not making a movie, we're doing a web series now. And I was like, whoa, web series? I thought you said it was a movie. I was like, are you still down? And I was like, I guess I already said yes. I mean,
well, that was my thing, is because I didn't go see No Way Home with y'all.
Yeah.
So I was like,
so you weren't fired up.
I wasn't. Yeah, I was like, okay. And then I get a text from you, and it's like, hey, we're doing a Spider-Man movie. And you already sent me like a script. You had like
the old one, right? Script. The old one?
Yeah. And it was going to be called, it was literally a 2-part film. And the first one was called With Great Power. And then the second one was called Great Responsibility.
I remember that.
and it was like, that was like the thing. And then I read it, and it was like a decent script. It was a lot of season 1 plot points where it was like he went into Oscorp. Kingsley was replaced with Tombstone.
Electro was still there.
I mean, it was literally season 1.
Yeah, it was just very condensed because
yes.
I have a very firm vision of what I wanted, because I remember we watched it, we were walking out of the theater, and I was like, dang, I really love Spider-Man. I'm a nerd. Oh well, I'm just gonna embrace it at this point. I was like, Richard, do you wanna? Well, actually, what happened, I remember, is I was like, bro, we should make a Spider-Man movie, just not even really being serious. And Richard was like, yeah, let's do it. And then a few days later, I was hanging out with my friend Sammy Martin. Shout out Sammy Martin. And he was like, bro, we should just make our own, because he loves Spider-Man too. And he went and saw it with us, and he was like, bro, we should just make our own Spider-Man movie. And I was like, well, that's 2 times. I was like, I thought that, and he just told me. I feel like I need to now. This is a sign.
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, yeah, you know what? Let me sit down and try to cook up something, because I had one very specific story I wanted to tell, but I knew I was like, oh, I need build up to it. So I was like, let me get something else. So I was writing something, and I made it, and I was like, this is pretty solid. I hadn't written a Spider-Man script in 6 years, probably. And so I wrote it, and I sent it off to Richard, and I texted Dom, and I was like, I want you to do this role. I want you to be a part of this thing that I'm making. So I sent it to him, and then I don't know what happened, but I was like, I remember I was like, oh, well, it can't just be 2 movies. I was like, at first it can't be 2 movies.
Yeah.
I was like, it's got to be a trilogy. If you're going to do something, it's good to do it in 3s.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's do 3 movies. And then I started on the second movie, and I was like, I'm not really in love with this. And I started watching Daredevil.
Yes, that's
again
right.
on Netflix. I was doing my weekly rewatch.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, I really want to do a Spider-Man thing like this. Then I was like, all right, well, let me scrap the first movie. Let me just start writing this thing. And I started writing it, and I got to 45 pages, and I realized, oh, I have a lot more to write. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Maybe we'll just make it a series, a 5-episode thing. And I went up to Rich. I was like, hey, dude, it's going to be, that long project you wanted to do. I think I got it.
Longer.
I think I got it.
And I was like, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, then, well, what is it? And he's like, it's going to be 5 episodes. And I was like, whoa, 5 episodes?
And I remember to get you involved, I told you, I was like, I just want you to act. But I was like, but then it was like, we kind of expanded. I was like, look, man, I need help.
That producer thing didn't mean. My mother asked me, months ago. It was right after season 1 came out, and she said, "So what does a film producer do?" I'm like, to be honest, I have no idea. I mean, look, I almost feel like terrible for saying it, but I mean, it was literally, I did very, very little on season 1, you know, and it was largely, it was, you know, it was our project, but it was your it was your vision, it was your project from the get go. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and you know me, I'm just content with acting and you know, do it my whole thing. So yeah, that producer credit was literally in name only, because my mother was like, I was like, well, you know, they do the money stuff, they location scout, they're pretty much, producers are in charge of basically the entire pre-production. Yeah, and then, which, you know,
we didn't have
we didn't have pre-production. It was literally,
we went straight to it.
Pre-production was, the scripts are finished. We have a cast. Let's go.
Sweet. Press go. Here we go. Yeah. That was my only gripe about it was like, it was very, the titles, season 1, the titles didn't mean anything.
Except for me and Rich.
You
and Rich, you weren't there a lot.
No, he was there for season 1. He was there for season 1.
You were there for a lot. Yeah. You were there a lot.
Season 2 was, you know.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Season 2 is its own
thing. I mean,
creature. Outside issues.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, but yeah, season 1. I mean, all the titles didn't mean anything, because some of the times I would be doing boom, and some of the times I'd be on camera. Sometimes you'd be on sound. So I mean, really, it was literally just a.
Yeah, I mean,
whole circle.
It was
sometimes I was literally doing camera, boom, and lighting. It was
all at once.
All at once. It was just me and Tate, and I was everything else.
No, literally, yeah. So I mean, that's my thing about that. But
yeah, I mean, I would agree. Yeah, it was. It definitely, especially when it got to the point of like, let's just finish this. It was like, I don't even need anybody on set.
Yeah,
I'll get it myself. There's things there are things in season 1 that I filmed all by myself.
Yeah.
In my room, there's like some Peter stuff where it was like just me waking up, and it's like, I did that myself, because like.
I mean, it's like, why call everybody out?
I was like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I was like, let me film some stuff for season 1. I can.
Yeah.
I can. It doesn't look great, so. Yeah. But neither does season 1. If we're being honest.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, that was a crazy like, just thing to do, like being like, we made this one 20-minute short and it's not good. Mm-hmm. Let's make a 5-episode web series and bring in people that we don't know, that have never seen us make anything, and have them put faith in us to make something that's good.
I have no clue how so many people said yes.
And even the people that I've shown it to, you know, like just people that I meet in the music industry and stuff like that, and people that we've shown it to, you know, and I get self-conscious about it because I know it doesn't look good. I know that there are bits and pieces of it that I'm like, and rewatching it is even worse, because then I'm like,
it's
shoot.
Hard, yeah.
And all these people are like, no, it's not as bad as you think. But I think when you're involved in that process, and you're like, you know, I guess we are our own worst critic in that sense.
Yeah. Yes.
But compared to something like Crash, it wasn't
major
too bad.
Improvements.
Especially if we're talking, and like even like just like other fan films. Like, I'm not trying to knock anybody. If you want to go out there and make a Spider-Man movie, you want to be Spider-Man, do it. Like, do it. It's your dream. Do it. But like from a technical film aspect, like, you look at these movies, because it's a lot of kids, you know, which is great. It's great, because that's how I started. That's how I got started in film. I'm so happy for it. But it's like, it's just not great quality. So when you compare our quality to theirs, and we have a $2,000 camera, you know, it's kind of like, and we know basic lighting techniques, it's like, it's gonna look good. It's just, I think all three of us are just like such visual people, and like when we read something or think something, we have this like ideal image of what it's gonna look like.
Yeah.
And like, it's just it was just us on set. So like, we need help to create that.
It was just
so we'd get there and we'd be like, this is not how I wanted it in my head, but like other people can look at it and be like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And we're just like, well, it's not what we wanted.
Yeah. I mean, there was, we were still pretty new at it too, and we were just trying to figure out how we could combine our creative differences into one. And it was definitely a lot of inconsistency.
Yeah.
Well, plus, I mean, when you look at the term, and when you think of the term fan film, largely the first thing, I think there's that stigma that pops into everybody's mind of that, oh yeah, these are just like 12-year-olds or, however old, just shooting around with an iPhone camera. And so I still, I guess, am worried that we're going to get lumped into that kind of, field, even though it's like,
Which is weird that you think that. I know,
Right.
I know it's a fear you have, but it's just like we're not there.
Right,
Like, you can
right.
look around
Which
at
is
the
the
people who
thing,
have like come up to us and talked to us about things.
Sure.
I mean, we had Eric the other day coming up to us.
Right.
And you look what he's done, and look how much like our thing is.
Yeah.
We're not. The thing is, like, it's what we're known for.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be what we're known for a while.
Right. Yeah.
And I know you're probably the only one out of the three of us who really has an issue with that. Like, I could go forever being known as the guy who played Spider-Man in
Right.
Oklahoma. Like,
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
go forever. I'd love that.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't think we will.
Mm-hmm.
I know we won't.
Yeah.
But it's just like we're already like surpassing
and
the
that's
fan
the thing.
film stigma, anyways.
I gotta. That's the thing, and that's it's a double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, you're working with that established IP, and you're charging in, and you're doing all this great stuff and stuff like that. But then you have that, because then the second somebody comes and does something different, then it's like, oh wait, it's whatever and kind of thing. So yeah, I get that a lot too, for sure. But
I agree. Sorry, my mic was being weird for a second. I had to double check my settings. I was like, am I getting any of my audio? I was so worried. I was like, oh no, I did something.
I spent the whole thing without.
Yeah, but
I mean, yeah, it's just like I've always seen this as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
So-
Oh yeah, as have I. Yeah.
So-
the chapter in
the greater.
and the greater accomplishment of
Infinity Entertainment. And I think it's a great one to start with. Because I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already an established IP. Everybody already knows it.
yeah.
And it's such an expansive lore, I guess, that people can be like, they can get involved with it, just as much as we're involved with it,
Yeah.
by
it's
stuff
just,
like that.
I mean, I think it's just it just helps us, like improve what we need to improve, because we just work with what we had from the previous season.
Yeah.
Right.
We were doing like, okay, we were improving on this now, lighting and sound and cinematography and even writing. It's just, I feel like it's definitely like going from season 1 to season 2, you can definitely see the improvement, and and I know that's from season 2 to season 3 is gonna be a bigger improvement, because we're just building and building and building, and if we I feel like if we change it up and stuff like that to something completely different, like if we just didn't do season 2, it would be a lot more difficult, I think.
Well, and we were talking to Eric the other day, and some of the stuff that we were talking about was really artsy and really kind of,
For season 3?
for season 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Very experimental.
Season
kind
3 is going to feel like a monumental story.
That is going to be, and I feel like that's going to, and I was having this conversation with Eric, that's going to be the point where that's going to be like the bridge. You know what I'm saying? The bridge between the Spider-Man, fans and the people who watch for Spider-Man, and then
the storytelling.
and just the filmmakers in general. I feel like that's going to be the one to bridge the gap, kind of.
Because, I mean, it's weird that we're going to start, we're talking about season 3 right now, because season 2 is not out. We're not going to give spoilers away, but like, guys, like season 3 is going to be crazy. And that's saying something, because season 2 is not even out. But like, these first 2 seasons, I wrote the first one by myself, and I had my mom check for grammar issues, and then I was like, let's go film this. And then season 2, I was like, you know what, let's take a little bit more time, pre-production. I didn't. I think it was like, 3 months?
Yeah.
Because we stopped filming, I wrote the scripts, send them to you, had my mom grammar check them. We did some rewrites, but nothing heavy. You weren't involved in like a ground up story level start.
No, I cut a pretty big chunk of it, but as far as like coming up with new stuff, no.
And thank the Lord that you cut that out. That would have been a nightmare. It's in a very heavy episode in season 2, and the episode's pushing an hour.
So if we kept
and
it would have been
like 15 pages.
Close to close
like
to 2 hours, hour 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But like season 2, it wasn't like, and then we wrote the scripts, we did some rewrites, signed off on it. We're like, yeah, let's go do it. And got the funds, did a little bit more casting stuff, had a little bit more meeting stuff, and then boom, we were there. We did it. Yeah. And I'm just very, honestly, looking back on it, the turnaround from dropping season 1 to going into season 2 was like 2 months.
Not even a year.
It was 2 months.
Well, and finishing
before we started
season
filming.
Right, and then finishing season 2 wasn't even a year later. I mean, it's
we
literally
did not
7
take
months.
Foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely hurt us in a way of like some things felt kind of like this. I don't think that overall the season, I think to us, did it feel rushed to y'all?
Yes.
It felt very rushed to me.
There was definitely a lot more, I feel like, pressure kind of.
Yeah.
But not from like a storytelling standpoint. Definitely a rush standpoint.
Yeah.
And it was definitely kind of more of a, balls to the wall kind of thing, I guess, where it's just like all right, we're doing it. So
yeah, I got very caught up in like the story, I would say, and I was like writing, and I was like, oh, I just want to do it. I just want to do it. And then I started doing it, and we have a whole lot more people, a whole lot more questions that I didn't have the answers to, and I think I had so much fun doing it, but I can also say that I was not having fun a lot of those days.
Sure.
And a majority of season 2 was very much just like, gosh, this is a lot. Yeah. This is a lot for me. And it wasn't even like, it's weird because at first I was going to talk about this earlier, how it's like whenever we started going to make these Spider-Man movies and to perfect our craft and to like do this, because like people who make movies, they usually improve movie to movie. The one thing is, sometimes they don't get that chance to do another movie because the studio behind it, they fail the money. They don't get enough money. We're not making any money. We're not trying to pay anybody back. There's zero monetary pressure on us. So there's like, season 1, there was no pressure whatsoever. And I put a lot of pressure on myself in season 2 for no reason. And I don't know if y'all felt it at all.
Oh yeah.
But I was oh man. I was just not having fun some days. I would show up and I would just be like,
oh, I could tell. Yeah.
Some days I just wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in directing, that's not what you want. That is not what you want.
No.
I remember there was one time I don't think either of y'all were there. I had a full mental, I had a panic attack.
I remember you telling me about that. I think it was recently, was it not? It was kind of toward the end.
February or March.
Okay, yeah.
Sometime in then. But I had a full, panic attack on set. I was shaking. I couldn't think. And none of you guys were there. Mm-hmm. So literally I had to go up to, I think Prado was cam opping that day. So we'd call cut, and I'd walk up to her and I'd be like, this is the next shot. I need you to do this. I'm going to go sit around the corner real quick and just breathe. And I would do that. I'd run around the corner and then I would wait, and then she would come and she'd be like, all right, let's go. And I'd run in, do the shot, tell her the next one. I was like I couldn't keep still. And it was weird because I honestly can't, it wasn't one thing. It was just everything just kind of hit. Mm-hmm. And that was weird. I didn't like it. I did not like it. And I continued not liking. I did not have fun probably all of March, a little bit of April. But once we got towards those last couple, last bit of April, May, and June, I was back in it, and I was having fun. Mm-hmm. I was taking a lot of pressure off, but man. Oof.
It got tense. Especially, kind of that late April, early May. I remember just being at CHA in the music room, the Norman Osborn's office, that set, and oh my goodness, it got real tense at some points. So it was
that day was rough for me too.
No, Was that the day that you got the vase thrown at you too?
It was when I went through the wall, got the vase thrown at me, and I met Phil for the first time, who came in and played Kraven.
So you were emotionally beaten, physically beaten. You were just having
I was cooked, man.
Day.
I was cooked.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, ugh. Well, gotta get ready for Saturday.
Yeah.
Monday's over. Gotta get ready for Saturday.
Here we go. Yeah.
Oh, Saturday's over. Gotta get ready for Monday now.
Yeah.
It was just, we had so much success in such a little bit of time. And we were just on a high, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think definitely slowing down
burnout.
This next process is going to be save us from burnout first off, and also just be able to perfect the story. So
yeah.
But yeah, how'd y'all feel? How was y'all pressure? How was your anxiety on season 2, baby?
I wasn't as involved as I wanted to be, just because I had some personal things that I needed to handle first. But every time I would come and set, I could definitely feel the pressure. Mm-hmm. I will say that. Like, I was like, whoa, okay. There's just so many people here right now who, like, just want to do this thing right now. And it's just like, it's just, they all want to film, they all want to do this, but then people, they start talking and they start goofing off, and it gets to a point where like it can, like, it's hard to control everybody. So I could just see like, I can just see like people would just get frustrated over here, people get frustrated over there, but like it was still like a very smooth process. But like you could definitely just like, I don't know, it just felt, you could feel the pressure. I can definitely feel it in my shoulders that it was just like definitely a lot for Tate and a lot for you too. And it's just like, okay, this is, every time I will go in there, I was just like, okay, let's go film, because I feel like the faster we did everything, the like we will get home faster and get more rest and be more ready. That's every time we'll go in there, that's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But like also like I felt like it felt like we were rushing, but we couldn't stop rushing because we just like,
we never had like a second to catch our breath.
Yeah. Well, and it was an interesting dichotomy too, because we multiplied our crew probably by 2 or 3. Two or three times.
At least 3.
At least that's what I'm saying. And which on the surface level was good and made us more efficient. On the same side of that coin, we were almost less efficient than season 1, if that makes sense, kind of. Just because of all the extra people there and because of kind of, the extra. So it was like a, 2 sides of the same coin, where it was efficient and some days were definitely better than others, but it was a very interesting kind of juxtaposition there.
Yeah, and it was like because we were always very like large advocates of being like, come to Spider-Man, don't take it seriously, it's a Spider-Man project,
right? Yeah, and I'm for that,
like, which I'm still like an advocate for, like, come and have fun,
right? Yeah,
but when I'm not having fun, it's like, it's a different outlook on it. Yeah. So it's like,
well, and it's like, you can't, obviously one person can't run the entire, because it is a collaborative process. So it's like, even though you're not having fun, it's like, don't, piss on everybody else's parade for it. But at the same time, it's like, there is a time for work and there is a time. Yeah. So it's and a really,
we never drew a line between work and play, because there'd be times where I clearly remember us being like walking and passing, setting up a shot, and then one person, because we're all friends, and it's great because I trust these people with I trust them with the equipment, I trust them with the story, I trust them with their abilities of what to do, and I trust them just like overall in life to look out for me and for the story that I've created, because they have respect for either the story, or they have respect for me, or they have respect for whatever we're doing, or they just have a genuine respect for film.
Yeah.
And so I am also very close to these people, and you have a lot of memories with people, and you can walk by somebody and say one thing, and then they'll say something else, and then you're sucked into a 40-minute conversation.
Yes.
And us in the space of trying not to have a looming like, oh, you have to come to Spider-Man and we got to do this and this and this. We didn't hire an AD or have one because they yell, and that's not fun.
No. Nor is anybody getting paid. So it's so like, we were like, there should be no pressure.
Yeah, there should be no pressure. But whenever we get sidetracked for 40 minutes in a set that I've tried to get, I got 3 months in advance, and now we don't have enough time to finish the scene.
And then like people are taking off work, and people are, they're giving their time to it.
Yeah, these actors are adults. Yeah. So it's just like it's hard, because it's like, I don't want to yell at these people.
Right.
And I genuinely want to have fun with these people too. But it's like, whenever we're there, it's like there are definitely days where we have to lock in more than we're not.
Well, and the interesting thing about that is and it's like, where do you draw that line, or what time do you draw that line? Because I remember days on set where, you were saying, maybe like goofing off with like Lamontre or Max or somebody, And then, you know, and literally seconds later, I say something and it's like, no, lock in. What are you doing? And I'm like, okay, bitch. I'm like, what what are we doing? Yeah. I'm like, you were literally doing the same thing just now.
Exactly.
It's like, what did I do to make it, you know, different? It's like, you know, it could switch on like a drop of a hat. And it's like, you got to be, you know, it's almost like you're watching your back the entire time.
It's like one second I'm like,
you're like, oh.
It's like one second I'm goofing off, and then I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, oh,
right.
We just wasted 40 minutes.
So I just caught you on a time when you happened to look at your watch, basically.
Probably, yeah. That's what I mean. That happened to a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just kind of like it's just like a thing, you know. Mm-hmm. Especially with these people who want to have so much fun, and they're always goofing around. And it's fun to goof around,
right?
And it was just like. It was great in a lot of sense of like the memories that we have from season 2 definitely have way more and they're way funnier than season 1. Mm-hmm. But it's also like, I don't think in and of itself, the goofing off made the process longer. Mm-hmm. It was just like, we weren't used to controlling this many people. Yes, and so it was like, oh wow, this is a lot of people. I have to watch out for this person because this person likes to wander over here. This person likes to talk to this person. And it's like, oh my goodness, I need to get thrown through this wall real quick.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, set up. But I mean, I'm definitely not hating on it. I'm very grateful for everybody. It was just like our mental space we hadn't prepared for that. And we also we were just on such a go mode and we had so much pressure and just all these things piled up on top of each other. Yeah. It was just like
and a lot of conflicting things piled on top of each other because you do have that go mode and then you do have, you know, X amount of people. And then you do have this, that, and the other. So it's less of the things piling up on top of each other and more of just like so many conflicting things, you know, like just things on a Jenga tower that's, you know, it's going to fall and, you know, kind of thing. But
yeah, it definitely just because we weren't like, we weren't paying everybody and we were doing it for fun. It just definitely like, it cost us like, just like, because we didn't want to pressure anybody into like, we have to get everything done on time and do our work and work. And, you know, it's okay to goof off and everything, but it did just like, it was just definitely like a lot of pressure that you could feel because it was just so many people around. I mean, you can't really there's only one person and for Tate, he's doing acting, directing, using the camera, lighting, literally almost controlling everything. And I can see why it was super overwhelming.
Well, nothing's free. Yeah. So if you're not paying in money, you're paying with your sanity, basically.
I paid with it. I paid with it. All right.
Yeah.
Man, but I mean, we learned for sure. Yeah. It's definitely a massive. I definitely learned. I learned a lot about filmmaking from season 1 and technical stuff and how to do all this, shots, angles, lighting, all this. I think season 2 really just helped with like the mentality you have to have, and also like the helped with like the go-ness of it. You know, like sometimes it's better to slow down and kind of just, you know, catch your feet, because we were still riding so high. We hit a high on that season 1 drop. We got views on views. We got shouted out. We got posted. We were in the news. We were in the art. We were, oh my gosh, all these things, and then started falling. And we just had we nothing. We didn't catch our steps. We didn't catch our fall at all. And it was just, we hit the ground and we just kept going and we were stumbling. And but I mean, that's not on anybody who came in and helped with us. That's an us thing for sure.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And it was a big lack of communication we had a big lack of communication for sure as the three of us.
Between us. Well, I was about to point that out because I would come, you know, on to set on like a Saturday, and there were probably 3 people I had never seen before. Mm-hmm. And I was like, where is he getting all these people and why do we need them? You know, kind of thing. Yeah. And it was like, you know, I had to sit and be there and was like, do we really need this person doing this? Do we?
And you would
really
tell me, and you'd be like, hey, who's this person? I'm like, oh, they're here.
Right. Like, well, and then half the time, like, like they wouldn't even be, like, realistically, we would have that position filled sometimes. Mm-hmm. And we had just another person just there just to be there.
Yeah, because
I was like, well, what good is that going to do?
Yeah. Justify by being like, oh, well, we can always use another grip.
Right.
But
it's like,
if you don't know what you're doing, like, you're not going to do it, you know?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd be like, oh, you're the safety man if this person doesn't leave. But then they'd both show up. And it's like, oh, because it was just some people just wouldn't show up, which is fine.
Well,
But,
yeah,
like,
I mean,
you
they're
should
not
let
getting
me know.
paid, so it's
Yeah,
like, you know.
just let me know.
You have no obligation to it.
It's fine,
and
but, like,
yeah.
you know. But yeah, I think on the three of us was a big lack of communication.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because then you were I'd say you co-directed when you were there,
Oh, yeah.
but like there's some times when you would show up and it'd be like, am I doing anything? Kind of.
Well, yeah, well, I agree because I think it had a lot to do with that, just that overwhelming sense of just I mean, he's already got, 15 other people here.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I drive, 30 minutes for this? It's like all I'm doing is just standing here supervising the whole thing. So, yeah, I think a lot of that had to do with just and which stems from a lack of communication, like you were saying, just between the three of us. But, yeah. It's
it's a work in progress.
It's all fixable.
We're learning.
It's all fixable.
We're gonna get better.
Yeah.
Season 3 is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
Even the miles short's gonna be crazy nuts.
That's true because you're doing that bulk on your own. Not really on your own.
Not on my own, but like because you're working a lot.
I'm working.
So if you can, if you can swing by, I mean, yeah, pull up.
Yeah, like swing by.
Swing by. I said. I mean, you really don't have any. You don't have a role in this one, so
no, that's what I'm saying.
Just show up if you want to.
Yeah.
Say hi and leave whenever you want to.
Hi bye.
But yeah, because I'm not in it, so I can.
So you're
I
filming.
just get to direct. I just get to direct if Rich isn't there filming, then I get to film. But
yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a good one to like recover from.
I think so.
For sure.
It's some good content that. Not that it doesn't have stakes. Everything we should do should have some stake in something. But like kind of like it's a good. A breather. Well, not filler. I hesitate to use the word filler.
You need to watch it. you should watch it if you want to understand season 3.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think it's going to be like, it's going to feel like doing freelance.
Yeah.
Just
What
film we did before season 2.
What is the status on Freelance?
Well, we did it. We had that final cut for school. And I know we didn't love it, and we wanted to do some things to it. But now we're at the point where I look different, Max looks different, and Martin looks different.
So we just go drop it?
So it's like either put it out as is, which we're not really happy with, or refilm the entire thing. And it's like...
I still think it's better, though, than season 1, visually.
Freelance? Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, I think even if you did put it out, even though we passed that point now, it's almost like a good stopgap between a good bridge between our for people who look at the filming aspect of things, people who in addition to the story, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it would be smart to drop it, but it's it's your call, whatever.
I don't know.
But
I mean, I think doing when we did Freelance, it definitely like set our like it showed us how much we improved from season 1 to Freelance. That I was very excited for season 2 when we were gonna start season 2. So I think it's pretty good enough to show it to people.
yeah.
But if we want to do like the whole thing again, then I would be completely down to just the whole thing.
We'll release a Freelance director's cut. We'll
We'll see. We'll do something with it.
We'll do.
We're not gonna just sit and not do anything with it.
Right.
It's just kind of finding out what we are gonna do.
Well,
with it.
and Freelance, come to think of it, I think that was what gave us the crew we had for season 2.
It really did,
Because that was Brent's first time on set with us. That was Jack's first time on set with us. Alejandro. Yeah.
Tyler Wright, not Tyler Williams. And then we had Trent come and do some drone stuff. We had Ian do sound.
Yeah.
We had Landon come do some BTS stuff. So like
that gave us.
We did have James, our producer. That was the first time we had James on anything.
So I mean, that was literally the season 2 crew, and then we added Hope and Prada and Gracie and all them.
Gracie and Ethan.
Yeah.
I mean, Ethan was there on Freelance. Ethan was there the last day on Freelance too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it gave me a lot of confidence for sure. It was just like, I forgot to add in the scale of season 2 compared to the scale of Freelance. You know?
Right,
So
yeah.
it's like we were just like, oh, sick, let's go.
Yeah.
And also Freelance was just like a silly, funny thing to do. You know. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, hey, I wouldn't change it. We did it. We're learning.
got it done.
We're gonna
I mean,
kill
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Looks amazing.
So
Looks incredible, honestly.
yeah, I can't be too mad about it.
No.
Always things we would want to do
Yeah,
better,
I mean-
but you know.
Yeah. It's you can never strive to you could always strive for complete perfection, but it's that kind of like
Yeah.
reaching it.
There's always something.
Reaching it's the hard part.
Yeah. It's always something. It's always
Yeah.
something. But it comes down to like a budget thing, you know.
Yeah, something. Yeah,
We don't have $1,000. We don't have $100,000 to go do whatever we want,
Nah,
So.
we don't have Lotus money.
which is fine.
But
I
even
think it helps.
then,
I
we
think
did
it helps
better.
us. I think the lack of budget helps us in ways.
It
So.
yeah.
Except in locations.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
But other than that, man,
and VFX.
and VFX.
VFX. Yeah, that kind of hurt.
Yeah. But
Season-
we'll fix that.
Well, yeah.
We'll fix that at some point. But no, yeah. So great conversation.
I know. This is some good stuff.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Man, what else?
I don't know. I mean, what's your favorite scene from season 1?
Favorite
We can't
scene.
talk about season 2.
Yeah, too many spoilers.
That's true. We can't talk about season.
Well, we can talk about season 2 in cryptic ways, and people can get mad at us. So
I don't have a favorite scene in season 2 because I'm not in it. I like my thing, man. That rooftop scene. That rooftop scene was
Still?
still. I mean, it's even with watching it back and seeing all the ways that we just kind of like messed up filming.
Yeah.
That scene always kind of stands out to me as like some of the best. That and the party scene. The party scene's up there.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, but I just remember the premiere sitting in Rodeo Cinema down at the Stockyards, and that scene where I start laughing and like the blood comes out of my mouth.
When you snap your leg back into place.
When I snap my leg back in
Yeah.
place, the entire theater just gasps.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
And then then I drip the blood out of my mouth, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
How was the premiere for y'all? Let's talk about that, because that was a very unique thing. Because people don't just do premieres.
No.
Like that was a very fun and crazy, because we were like, yeah, we'll have a premiere.
Yeah.
How's that?
And I hope we have it for season 2 because
Oh, of
I
course.
enjoyed the season 1 premiere.
That was the main draw. What are you talking about? We do things to have a premiere.
Yeah, I enjoyed season 1. I had I was in the. I tell people to this day, I have never seen season 1 in its entirety, because for the second half of episode 2 and the first half of episode 3, I was in the bathroom at Rodeo Cinema because we had those
buns,
Cajun
the buns.
Cajun chicken buns, and they are fantastic. They're phenomenal. I love those. It's,
From Cafe de Lazier. Something.
Downtown.
OKC. It's amazing. If you're ever in town, go.
It's in
go
the
check
same
it out.
building as the News 9.
News.
Yeah,
Is it
News
News 9?
9. News 9 station. Mahogany's there. Yeah, and fantastic food. But that plus like just the nerves of the entire evening
Cooked your
just
insides.
cooked my insides, and I was like in the bathroom for the majority of the premiere. But I loved, getting to see people's reactions. I loved getting to just share what we did for, 9 months with these people, and it was fantastic. So I love the premiere. How'd you feel about it?
I loved it too. I didn't know it was gonna be that big though.
Neither did I.
I dressed up casually because
You wore like a sweatshirt.
yeah, I was like, oh, is he like, because Tate told me he was gonna be in a small theater, so I was just like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna bring baggy clothes and I'm gonna bring my blanket. I'm gonna just enjoy the movie that I made. I wasn't there to like impress anybody or anything. I was just or be professional. I was just there to just enjoy the movie because I made it. Or like I was part of it, and just being part of something like that, it was just amazing to me.
Yeah.
So whenever I showed up and there was the drop screen and to take photos, and there were people dressing up, you came out in a tuxedo, and Tate had and I was like, oh my god, I am I was not prepared for this, but I'm definitely gonna be prepared for this time around.
I'll
so.
send out an email, be like, black tie, tired. But no, I mean, that was so stressful for me up until we started watching it.
Yeah.
Because I like waited really long because we were supposed to. There was a bunch of miscommunications with some people on the post side of things. I was supposed to get something by a certain date and I didn't get it. So the movie wasn't really done until the night before we were supposed to show it. So I exported them that morning, got them to the theater, and it wasn't working initially, and we had to figure out a different way to project it onto the screen. Man, I was so nervous. And then once we finally were like, oh yeah, we could work with this. I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you so much. And I mean, after that, it was fun. It was a breeze. I mean, there were certain moments in the film where like something messed up. There's some sound stuff. There was one scene that had no sound, and I remember I was like watching it, and I was like, and I leaned over to Dom, and I was like, I don't think there's any sound right now.
Yeah.
And Dom was like, is it supposed to be like that? And I was like, no. And we looked back, and then Matea starts talking, and you just don't hear anything, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, it helped me see what I needed to fix before we put it out publicly. So it was great. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I mean, having all those people come out and support you for something you spent so much time and energy and passion on. I mean, it was great. Yeah, it was great.
I definitely loved the energy. Like at the beginning of when we started the show, everybody was like, "Whoa!" And I could tell nobody was expecting the quality that we gave them.
Yeah,
and everybody was definitely impressed. Like when your scene, whenever you snapped the leg, and everybody was like, "Oh!" Yeah. Everybody was like. In like some of the fight scenes, you would get hit, and they were like, "Oh!"
Yeah,
like like they would make sounds, and they would like actually react, and I was just kind of like. I don't know. It felt unreal somehow.
Yeah.
Like it felt like it felt really crazy because I've never like had anything like that, experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was special.
Very much.
That's how I would describe it as special.
What would your dream venue be for the season 2 premiere?
I mean, the Stockyards was great, but I guess if I'm saying dream.
Yeah, because like I'm totally fine having it at Rodeo again. Rodeo was fantastic.
It was amazing. I'm so happy and thankful for them.
Yeah.
I don't know, Showbiz,
Show.
A big theater,
Yeah.
the Warren. I don't know, but like I mean, I would only do the Warren if we had IMAX, and we do not have IMAX, so it's like there's no point. Even like Harkins. I mean, I don't know if I would want to.
There's just something special about just the one room theater,
and it's small. It fits a lot of people, but it is very like
it's very cool. Yeah.
The vibe of it is very much kind of the vibe of. I mean, I feel like it's the vibe of Infinity.
I feel like that too. I felt that too. I think that's why I enjoy the premiere so much, is because I was like, wow, this is it. Mm-hmm. We've made it in our own little way, and then we got contacted to be on the TV news station like 6 months later, and then I was like, "Oh, now we've made it."
Now we're there.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, I mean, it's we're always topping ourselves, which I think is pause.
Yeah.
Which I think is which I think is really good. But
yeah, I mean, it was great. It's a weird thing because it's like it's a very long process because I mean it's a long viewing. Yeah, we had to separate into 2 parts.
It was 3.5 hours altogether?
3.5 hours. We rented out the space for 5 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like nobody really thought it was going to be that big of a thing either. Mm-mm. I mean, I dressed up. I dressed up because it was my premiere, and I was like, I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to look cool.
Well, I made a custom suit for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to.
I remember when I posted about it, and I was like, all right, if you guys, I was like, because I sent it to everybody who was involved, and I was like, come on in. Then I was like, oh, if anybody else wants to spend $5 and come watch this web series, come do it. And the amount of people who like DM'd me and like paid me to like, when they were like, oh, I want to come see it. I was very like, whoa. Yeah. People I didn't know or weren't involved in it at all, who were like, oh, I want to come see this. And I was like, wow, this is weird. It's weird. And then you get there and everybody's in, because the theater's pretty, it's not big, but it's like larger than like their little gathering area. And when everybody was gathered in that one area, you're like, oh my gosh, these people are about to come watch this.
Yeah.
So, and it was only like 100 people. It was only like 100 people who were there. And like, then you think about that room filled up with 100 people. And then you look at YouTube and we have 30,000 people who've watched episode 1, put all those people in a room. You're like, it's crazy to think about it that way. Because I did think about that one. I was like, it's not 1 million, but I was like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely going up into that stage whenever we were talking, that was very nerve-wracking for me. I'm not really used to going in front of everybody.
What,
you know?
really?
Yeah. So
I couldn't tell, brother.
Everybody just us saying like, oh, we're Infinity Entertainment and everything. It was just, I don't know. It felt really unreal, and I was like very nervous. And I mean, you guys weren't nervous at all because
I love it.
Yeah.
I love talking to.
I love it too. I mean, I still get nervous. Like, don't get me wrong, my heart's beating out of my chest, but I'm up there and I'm loving it. I wanted it to be like I didn't want it to be a make it all about us thing. You know, I felt like we did a good job of
it. Yeah, I mean, it is a group. I mean, some director is quoted. I don't know if it's Scorsese or Spielberg or what. One of my mutual friends in the industry posted this on his social media the other day, and the quote was, "If there's no collaboration, it's not a film."
Yeah,
I mean, it's about collaboration. It's about, working together with people to create something bigger than any one person's individual vision and stuff. And I give you a lot of crap, but I say, yeah, this is by all intents and purposes your vision, because of course you want to do it and you want to spearhead it. But I mean, we've, connected with so many people along the way over the past 2 years, and, gonna meet a lot more people and.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many times where one of y'all would give a thing on set that's just like 10 times better than what I thought it would be. So it's like my brain is like thinks about it one way, y'all's thought about it another way, and it would be like better than what I thought. So it's like I wouldn't want to stick to mine. Especially, I mean, that was very apparent the other day in writing for season 3 with Eric and Dylan.
Yeah,
and they came in. They're great writers, amazing writers, very talented. And they came in, and me and Dom are like, well, these are the things we want to do. This is what we have. And it was basically like, okay, well, how did you think about doing this, and this? And it was like, oh, not at all.
And that's the thing. And that's the wonderful part is and for the most part, every goal that we tried to hit with season 3, we hit.
Yeah.
Which is the fantastic part. And all Eric did and Dylan, basically they just gave us a map. They kind of connected the dots because we had the beginning and we had the end. Mm-hmm. But I always say that it's that middle part of a script that is always the worst because you got to connect point A to point B. Mm-hmm. And Eric connected it, seamlessly.
Yeah, and
he's like, what about this, and this?
And it was very much in a way that was very like not mean. There's some times where I'm definitely like, there's some people who are like, oh, well, I gave you this suggestion and you didn't take it. And I was like, yeah, because you said it like in a way that you thought it was better than my idea. And it's like, I obviously don't want to do it if you think you're better than me.
Right.
Like we'd be on set and somebody would be like, well, maybe you should put the camera here instead.
Right.
And I'm like, well, no, how about you be quiet?
Yeah, it's
like, and then like the other day where I'd be like this and this, and Eric would be like, well, how does this connect to this in any way?
Yeah, asking questions.
And he's like not even like, he's like genuinely wanting to know how, like, oh, how do these connect? Yeah. What's the importance of this? And you're like, oh, I guess there isn't one. And he's like, well, then let's get rid of it. And it's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So very helpful, very great to collaborate with people.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like collaborating with people too is very. Yeah. It just helps us achieve a goal that just improve and achieve the goal that we want to achieve. And I'm very thankful for the people that have worked with us because without them we wouldn't be here.
No,
yeah.
Literally.
No, for sure. Yeah.
And the people who took the chance, the season 1 people, granted there wasn't a whole lot of us on crew, but I'm talking about like actors. And basically all the people who were with us from the get-go. Like you said earlier, we had no prior credentials, no anything. You just came out of the woodwork and was like, hey, I want to make a Spider-Man movie. And people jumped in on it.
Yeah.
And we got some really talented people and really talented folks. And it was like, and because of them, because of all those season 1 people, we couldn't do season 3. No, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be able to do season 2, season 3, all the other things that we got going on in the works. So I think it's really that initial group of people that's kind of like, wow.
Like very thankful
because they took the first
risk.
chance. They took the risk
for
everybody else's reward, so to speak. Yeah.
And man, like, I mean, there's not a single main actor who I'm like, oh, they phoned it in. The entire, like, oh, they're just not good or anything. Like, they were amazing.
Yeah.
And even to the point where we were like, we told them it was like not going to be that long of a shoot. And then we ended up turning it into like a longer thing because we didn't know how to do anything.
Right. And they
still
stuck around.
They might have, and they were probably very, I mean, valid.
I know I was.
And annoyed. And I know you were, I was, he was. We were all very much like, gosh, is this going to hit?
Yeah.
And like, they kept coming back and they didn't phone it in a single day.
No. I mean, they gave it 120%. It was amazing.
And yeah, very grateful for those people. And the people that continue to come back, that main cast, people who came back.
Yep.
Like, oh, yeah, I had so much fun the first season. I was like, dang, I wish I did. No, I had so much fun season 1. Season 1 was so much fun. But yeah, I was like, and then even like the other day I was talking to somebody, you know, we wrapped somebody, and I was like, thank you so much. And they're like, yeah, and I can't wait for season 3. I was like, that's crazy. I was like,
yeah.
It was these people too are like, season 1 was weird because I was 19. I was 19. And I was going up to these 40-year-old people like Dale and Jeff. I was going up to them. I was being like, all right, guys, so you're going to do this. And telling these men what to do who were they're closer to my dad's age than me. And I'm the boss of them on this set.
Right, yeah.
And I was 19 years old. And I was just like, all right, guys, let's do a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
It was like a weird thing. I think I'm very grateful that I didn't think about that when I was doing it because it would have messed me up.
Oh, yeah.
But like looking back on it, it's like a very weird thing. Like I'm very good. I'm normal at it now. It's very like easy now because I did it before. But like looking back on it, it's like this kid, this little teenager is just telling these people what to do for his little Spider-Man film. And they would do it?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I mean, that's how much, I guess that's how much trust they had in us to make this. Pretty much once we started, we were like, we can't stop because
there were times we wanted to.
Yeah.
That's true. And I was kind of glad for that is because by bringing in those outside people, I knew that we wouldn't have another crash situation where we made the film and we spent a whole lot of time making the film and then just didn't finish it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, at least we're going to get something done. I don't know if it's going to be good.
But it's going to be done.
So
my mom said. She's like, Tate, you have not finished a single project in 10 years.
That's true.
And I was like, well, I have to because if I don't, I'm never making anything in this state ever again.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
But it was a good like incentive. I wouldn't say it was pressure, but it was incentive for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. Gosh, that was 9 months. It was crazy.
It was 9 months.
It was crazy. We did have a little breather though. We had a breather of season 1. We had like 3 weeks or a month off or something.
3 weeks. 3 weeks. A whole 3 weeks.
Do anything?
Yeah.
Well, you had your last semester of college.
I had that's true. I had about 2 months realistically.
Yeah. So you were out for a minute, but
I
you
was
had
out for a
school.
hot minute. Yeah.
And that's when Rich was like cooking with me.
Yeah.
Those months Rich was dialed in.
Yeah. And then me and Rich switched for season
Rich.
2. We switched for season 2.
Right?
Season 3. Hey, season 3 we're gonna make a schedule and it's gonna be so good. And if you guys stray from it, I'm gonna kill you.
I mean, yeah, we were definitely when it was just me and Tate, I was definitely locked in. I was trying to, just because we didn't plan it to be 9 months. It was like we were in overtime already. I was just trying to get that done.
You're like, all right, come on.
Come on. There were some times where we wouldn't get done though. I mean, there was one time I remember where we like, it's me, you, and Martin. And we were
that's a nightmare blunt rotation right there.
You want to talk about goofing off and wasting time? Talk about me, Richard, and Martin in a room together.
Put us together.
We started at downtown. Then you know that shot in season 1, episode 1, where it's like I'm on the building and it's like pushing in from behind right before I go break into the Regency for the first time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on that parking garage we get kicked out of a lot.
Yes.
So It was us there. We did a drone shot. We did a few other shots. Very good stuff. We get back to my house to do some Peter in his room things. And that's when it fell apart. We just started It was like 4 shots, too. We needed like 4 shots. And it took like an hour and a half. And we kept laughing. And Martin we'd be like, all right, Martin, you're in shot. Can you like move out of shot? And he would just fall to the floor and like crumble up underneath my desk. And then I would like look at him mid-shot. And he'd just be like in a weird contorted state looking at me. Gosh. And then we just start talking.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my! It was cold.
Yeah,
it was
that shoot. What time did we finish that shoot? We started in your house. It was like I believe it was like 12 or 1, and we didn't finish till like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like 4. It was like 3 or 4. Yeah,
like 2. Like it wasn't.
It was 2 scenes, and it was 3 scenes because it was we were started in daytime at Peter's house, and we went downtown at night, and then we went back to Peter's house for night. And we were supposed to do another one where it was like a green screen 1 shot, and we were like, no. We're done. We're like, nah, not this one.
Well, and then we really went to that 36-hour day.
Yeah.
We really tested the limits of one's just mind and body.
Yeah, we'll talk about this and we'll wrap it up.
that
This was something.
Oh my goodness. So it was
something.
such a packed day because we started with you and Stacy. Stacy was propped up on the ledge of the parking garage downtown.
Yeah.
And it was the scene where Black Cat watches Spider-Man from the ledge.
My identity is
and
revealed.
Gets his identity revealed. So we shot that. That whole scene was done. Then we moved to CHA where
Hammerhead enters with his mercenaries.
That's true. I forgot about that one.
And we kill Justin.
And you
kill
the security guard.
Which that scene is sick, by the way.
I like that scene. That
sick.
scene, it turned out good. And then we did the scene up in the asbestos room to get to the roof access with Gene. So we had Matea and you, and we're in there. So that's number 3.
You directed that one, too.
I did direct that. And it actually didn't turn out half bad. I thought
good.
it was going to suck, but it actually turned out. And then we went. I feel like there was some green screen stuff that we did that day too. Or no. That was a
then
separate
we went
day.
to the Black Cat.
Then we went to the Black Cat where Stacy came from the ceiling, and then beat up Tresden.
Yes.
And that was a one night. So we started that at what 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Got done at 6 a.m. Tate and I said, well, we got to be in Spencer at Filmmakers Ranch at noon, so we're just not going to go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, I was like, all right, so, we packed up, and by the time we packed up, it was like 7, 8.
Yeah, 7
And
o'clock.
people were coming to the school because it was closer to when school started.
Yeah.
So teachers were coming in. I was like, let's not pack this stuff up. Let's go put this in my mom's room for now, and we'll just come pick it up before we go film tomorrow. Because we were already like, let's just go hang out. We're like, let's go watch terrible fan films at your place. And so we went back and we sat on his bed and just talked about stuff, watched some fan films, and I think I drifted away maybe for like 30 minutes, something like that. Maybe a mini nap, but I don't think we really slept.
I didn't. I know I didn't.
And then we were like, oh, let's get up. And it was like that early where you're like kind of sick, where you're like nothing.
Yes.
You stayed up, so you're so tired and exhausted.
Nothing's
just, like,
good. Yeah.
You're eating a donut and you're just like, I want to throw up right now. And went back to CHA, walked in. My mom was like, oh, hey, how are you guys doing? And we were like, oh, we're good. Can we grab our stuff real quick? And my mom was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? I was like, oh, we didn't sleep. So we grabbed the stuff, went to Spencer, started setting up. And then I think the real gut puncher of that day was when...
You had a fight scene.
Yeah, it was whenever I texted Brandon, and Brandon said,
he was
late. I thought it was a
late.
night scene.
Yeah. He was late. Yeah.
Brandon, love you. AM on the call sheet, baby. But so then he was like, oh, I'll be there in like an hour or something. And we were like, oh my God.
So we were just sitting around.
No, we went to On Cue, right?
Yeah, we did.
And we got some Spark. We had some Mountain Dew Spark. And we went back and I was like, all right. And he was there. We were like, all right, let's choreograph this thing. Yeah. And Dom, as soon as we got to Filmmakers Ranch, first off, thank you, Filmmakers Ranch, for letting us film there. But as soon as we got there, he did not speak for the entirety of the shoot. And then I drove him back to CHA, and he said, I'll see you next time. And he got out of his car. And those were the only words he spoke to me that day. But we filmed it. It was good.
Was pissed.
And he was.
It was, yeah.
Oh, man.
It was a nightmare.
For me, it was terrible. I was like.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like fighting him, and I was going in and out. And Rich was like, "Does this shot look good?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You haven't."
And it did turn out good. I
It
mean,
is really good.
It did turn out good.
But I definitely was just
Point the mic at him.
asking you because I was definitely just asking you because I just to get your approval. But I know you were like you weren't even looking at it. I know you were just saying yes. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do my best and. Because they were, I left like what 12 the night, like around 12.
You left at like midnight, yeah.
I left around midnight, so I didn't get the worst of it. But no, I did leave pretty late. I think
It might have been 12 or 1.
It was closer to
Once we moved,
yeah.
once we moved upstairs from the.
Yeah.
Because you were there for the
Yes.
black cat scene, and whenever we killed the security guard,
Yeah.
then you left. But yeah.
No, because that was the last thing we shot was that black cat scene.
No, the first one.
The first one.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
That's how Dom was the next day, right there. That's how his brain was working. I'd say something, and he'd be like, and I was like, "No, Dom," and he was like,
Oh, fine. Okay.
and you were
whatever.
doing BTS that day too in the bar,
Yeah.
and you were just walking around like silently. Just
Yeah, all you would hear is just the click
Yeah.
of the camera. Just go, cheek.
you got a lot of good stuff though.
The little shutter.
You did get
yeah.
a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff. A lot of good BTS from that.
You don't
day.
need to talk to get good camera shots. That's
No,
all
no,
I'm
no.
saying.
Don't.
Tell Max that.
Yeah.
Tell Max that. No, he's good. He's good on BTS. But yeah, that was. I mean, we have so many stories from season 1. We have so many stories from season 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could do hours of this.
Probably will.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we do. We just
At
we
some point.
do want some more topics, though. I mean, anything.
Yeah,
Like
life.
filmmaking, what we want, what we do outside of this kind of stuff.
Just what we like in general.
Yeah,
Like,
like
what
who we
movies
are.
we watch.
Who are we?
What are your letterbox favorite for everybody?
Maybe that'll be that'll be the next episode. Who are we?
Who are we?
Who is Infinity Entertainment?
Yeah.
Other than Spider-Man, guy with glasses, and cameraman.
That was crazy.
From Lucas.
That was crazy. Yeah, it was some guy who
It's
did.
Luke. What's funny is he's doing sound effects.
Is he really?
For fight scenes for season 2. Shout out Elboy Carson, and he's like my homie now. Like
Okay.
we're very tight. Like on Instagram, I'll text him every now and then. Just like, "Yo,
That's
what's up?"
amazing.
But yeah.
It was some guy who did a review of our project.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, so Web of Spider-Man is a Spider-Man fan film series created by Infinity Entertainment. Now, Infinity Entertainment consists of Tate Talley and some guy who likes to wear sunglasses. And I'm like,
he's like, sorry, I don't know your name. And I was like,
what?
you can't be mad. Well, you can now because the guy with sunglasses is James. So
Yes, he took my position.
we need to get
so
James on a podcast.
Yes, we did.
That'd be something crazy.
I got demoted the second James entered the.
No, you got promoted. You're director.
Well, yeah,
But
I'm
you
talking about
lost
for season
sunglasses.
3.
You lost sunglasses.
That's true.
Sunglasses,
Yeah.
man.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, this was goated.
I liked it.
What a-
I liked it.
We need another mic. So we
We do need another mic.
Once we figure this out, it's gonna be better. But this is why we start. You know.
Why
we
we
rehearse.
do
This
things.
is
This is
why
why we yes.
No, I mean,
But yeah, I mean, we're kind of goated with the sauce, really,
yeah.
if you think about it.
Sauce is the boss.
Yeah.
Protein is the king.
I don't
That's
know.
a chef.
I don't think I've ever listened to a full podcast and figured out how they like segue into ending it. Like, I don't think I've ever. Have you
Oh,
guys?
yeah.
Because I don't know how to do this.
I think we just end it.
I've been trying to end it for the past 10 minutes, and I just like haven't thought of any way how. But yeah, I mean, this is fun. We'll definitely keep doing these. This is awesome. I mean, leave topics, not questions. Leave topics that we can discuss.
Q&A videos are different than podcasts.
We will be doing Q&As, but this is different.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to just be Spider-Man. It can just be like,
Please.
anything. I mean, me and Richard can talk
broaden-
about.
You know, it can be anything.
Me and Rich can talk about Spider-Man for hours. Dom is not in his element. Throw in some Spider-Man, throw in some film. If you start talking about classical music, Dom will go crazy. So
Not classical music.
he
Hold
loves
on now.
Beethoven.
Hold on. now.
Don't let him fool you. But no, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining in. Let us know your thoughts, your comments, topics. Follow the Instagram. We changed it recently.
Because we misspelled
We did
entertainment.
misspell it. That's another story.
It was there for the first year of its existence. And Cameron, who did Eddie Brock, was like, "Did you know you misspelled your Instagram handle?" And we're like, "Wait, what?" And it was like Infinity Entrainment.
Yeah, it was entertainment. Entertainment. There's no N.
Oh, okay. No,
something.
yeah.
But yeah.
It was, yeah.
Instagram is _infinity_entertainment_405, and we post everything, updates about there. We have cool, just bonus like reels, little content things up there. If you're just craving some Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man.
Craven.
If you're craving some Spider-Man content, go check out that. Obviously, YouTube. I mean, you're watching it on YouTube, but subscribe, like, comment. Go check out the Discord if you want to. That's a thing. I'm in there every now and then. Might work on doing like an event in there, maybe like a live stream. Who knows? Yeah. Something fun. We want to keep you guys kind of like, we want this to be more of a family than a fan base, you know. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Tate Talley.
I'm Dominic Bonacore.
And I'm Ricardo Vara Sanchez.
We are Infinity
Entertainment.
Thank you guys so much.